All right, so today we are going to take a deep dive into something I think a lot of people were interested in, which is how to make people like you quickly.
Yeah.
And we're going to be looking at a book by Nicholas Boothman
Yes.
called How to Make People Like You in 90 Seconds or Less.
That's the one.
So this is something that I think we can all relate to.
Absolutely.
You know, wanting to make a good first impression. And especially I think in like professional settings.
For sure.
Wanting to come across as likable and somebody that people want to work with.
Yeah, and this isn't about, being fake or anything like that. It's really about understanding how these dynamics work.
Right.
And Boothman does such a good job of breaking down, those first 90 seconds.
Yeah.
He actually compares it to a magazine ad.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they
Right.
only have, less than 2 seconds
Wow.
to grab your attention, right?
That's a good point.
And then you think about that in terms of, when you walk into a room
Right.
or you meet somebody for the first time,
Yeah.
it's got that very, very short window of time.
It's almost like our brains have this internal timer, right?
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's like this rapid assessment is happening.
What is it that's going on in those first few seconds?
Well, we're constantly, as human beings,
Right.
we're processing information
Yeah.
and, especially visual information.
Right.
So when we meet somebody new,
Yeah.
our brains are instantly trying to categorize them.
Oh, interesting.
Friend or foe.
Like a threat assessment almost.
Exactly. Threat or opportunity. It's like this evolutionary thing.
Wow.
So before we even open our mouths,
Right.
people are already forming opinions.
So it's all about body language then.
To a large extent, yeah.
So even before we say a word,
Absolutely.
people are already sizing us up.
Yeah. And this is where Boothman talks about the importance of having he calls it a really useful attitude.
I like that.
Yeah, it's about, projecting warmth and interest and,
Oh.
genuine enthusiasm.
I think we've all met those people.
Yeah.
Who just have this like energy about them
Oh, yeah, for sure.
where you're just instantly drawn to them.
And it's funny because Boothman actually tells this great story
Okay.
about this bank teller named Joanne.
Okay.
And everyone loves her.
Yeah.
Like, she just has this way of making everybody feel good.
So is that something you can learn?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah. Can you create that? I
Right.
mean, or is it just something you're born with?
Well, Boothman argues that you can definitely cultivate it.
Okay.
He breaks down a great greeting
Uh-huh.
into 5 actionable steps.
I'm all ears.
He uses the acronym OPEN.
Open.
Yeah.
Okay. What does that stand for?
So it's open eye, beam, high, and lean.
Okay. So let's start with open.
Sure.
That's body language, I'm guessing.
Got it.
Okay.
So, arms uncrossed.
Right.
Heart aimed toward the person.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically saying, hey, I'm open to connecting with you.
So none of that standing with your arms crossed,
No.
looking down at your phone.
Right. Or hiding behind a giant coffee cup.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so open check.
All right. What's next?
Eye
contact.
Yeah. Okay, why is that so important?
Well, it shows confidence.
Right.
And it initiates that connection. You're
Right.
sort of saying, I see you,
Yeah.
and I'm willing to engage with you.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, so we've got open, we've got eye.
What's next?
Beam.
Beam, yeah.
So I'm guessing that means smile.
Exactly, a genuine smile.
Okay, but doesn't everybody know to smile?
Well, yeah, I mean, you'd think so, right?
Yeah.
But there's actually more to it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when you smile at somebody,
Yeah.
you're actually triggering mirror neurons
I've heard of those.
in their brain,
Interesting.
which prompts them to smile back.
Oh, wow.
So it creates this instant sense of connection.
So it's like a biological cheat code for likability.
You could say that.
I like it. Okay, so we've got the open posture, the eye contact, the warm smile.
Mm-hmm.
What's next?
It's high.
So simple.
I know, right?
But I guess there's a right way and a wrong way to say it.
Oh, absolutely. This isn't just a mumbled hi in passing.
Right.
It's about saying it with warmth and energy.
Okay.
And make sure to include your name.
Oh, that's a good tip.
It personalizes the interaction right away.
Makes you more memorable too, I bet.
It does.
All right, so hi, check. And then finally we have
Lean.
just a slight lean forward
Okay.
to show that you're engaged.
I see it.
It's like you saying, I'm listening, I'm present.
Subconsciously, yeah.
Exactly.
Interesting. So these 5 steps seem so simple.
Yeah.
But when you think about the psychology behind them,
Right.
it's like you're hacking into people's brains a little bit.
In a way, yeah.
But is there a danger of overdoing it?
That's a great question.
Like, could you be too open or too smiley?
Yeah. I mean, you definitely don't want to come across as inauthentic
Right.
or creep.
So it's all about finding that balance.
Okay.
And that actually brings us to another concept that Boothman talks about,
Okay.
which is synchronizing.
Synchronizing.
Yeah. Have you ever noticed how when you're really connecting with somebody,
Yeah.
you kind of start to mirror each other's body language?
No, yeah, like without even realizing it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, Boothman says you can actually use this to your advantage.
Oh, really? How so?
So let's say you're meeting someone new as
Yeah.
they're talking.
Yeah.
You can subtly mirror their behavior.
Oh, interesting.
If they lean back, you lean back.
Ah.
If they speak softly, you lower your voice.
I see.
It's not about mimicking them exactly. It's
Right.
about creating that sense of harmony
Okay.
and understanding.
But isn't there a risk of seeming like you're mocking them or
Yeah,
being inauthentic?
you're right. It's all about subtlety.
Okay.
Boothman tells this great story.
Oh, I love his stories.
Yeah, about meeting his lawyer neighbor at a ski chalet. And he decides to try out this synchronizing technique.
I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
So, they're both at the chalet,
Mm-hmm.
and they start chatting.
Yeah.
And Boothman's paying close attention to the lawyer's body language.
Uh-huh.
And he starts to subtly mirror it.
So, like, what specifically was he doing?
Well, if the lawyer leaned back, Boothman would lean back.
Uh-huh.
If the lawyer spoke softly, Boothman would adjust his tone to match.
Okay.
It was all very understated.
Right.
But before long, they were deep in conversation, laughing, and the lawyer even put his arm around Boothman.
No way.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
So I guess it just goes to show you how powerful these subtle cues can be
Absolutely. They're speaking a language that we all understand.
on a subconscious level.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's fascinating. So, okay, so we've talked about first impressions.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about body language.
Right.
What about actually striking up a conversation?
Yeah, that's a big one.
Because I know a lot of people
Let's
really
see.
struggle with that initial.
What do I say moment?
Absolutely. Like you're at a networking event.
Right. Or a party.
Yeah, and you see somebody you want to talk to.
Yeah.
But you just freeze up.
Exactly. You don't want to seem awkward or
Right.
or say the wrong thing.
Exactly. Well, Boothman has a great formula for this.
Okay, tell me.
He suggests starting with what he calls a location occasion statement,
Okay.
followed by an open question.
So give me an example.
Sure, let's say you're at a conference.
Okay.
You could say something like,
Mm-hmm.
the energy at this event is fantastic.
Yeah.
Is this your first time attending?
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, it's simple, but it works.
Because you're starting with something you both have in common.
Exactly.
And then you're inviting them to share.
Right.
So much better than just saying,
What do you do?
yeah, or like, hey, what's up?
Right, which can kind of feel like a dead end.
So the way you ask the question matters too.
Absolutely. Boothman talks about using opening up words.
Yeah.
Like who, what, where, when, how. Because these invite the other person to elaborate and keep the conversation going.
So instead of asking, are you enjoying the conference?
Which could lead to a yes or no answer.
Yep.
You could say, what's been your favorite part of the conference so far?
Oh, that's much better.
Right. It encourages a more detailed response.
So it's like those little conversational speed bumps
Yeah.
that can either keep things moving or bring them to a screeching halt.
Exactly.
All right, so we talked about first impressions,
Mhm.
body language, striking up a conversation.
Yeah.
What else can we do to really connect with someone?
Well, this is where active listening comes in.
Oh, yeah, active listening. I feel like we hear that term all the time.
We do.
But what does it actually mean?
That's a good question because I think a lot of people think it just means like making eye contact and nodding your head.
Right. But it's more than that.
It is.
So what does it really mean to be an active listener?
Well, it's about truly engaging with the other person. Not just waiting for your turn to talk.
I think we're all guilty of that sometimes.
Absolutely.
Especially when we're nervous.
Oh, we're thinking about what we're going to say next.
Right.
Instead of actually listening to what the other person is saying.
Exactly. So Boothman suggests using verbal cues.
Oh, okay.
Like, oh, really? Or that's fascinating. Tell me more.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, it shows that you're following along
Right.
and you're genuinely interested.
It's like you're giving them little breadcrumbs to
Yeah.
follow and leading them further into the conversation.
You got it. And your body language can reinforce this too.
Oh, yeah, of course. So, like, leaning in,
Yeah, open posture.
mirroring their energy levels.
Exactly. All of those nonverbal cues
Right.
are saying, I'm here, I'm with you.
And this is where it gets really interesting, right?
Okay.
Because Boothman isn't just talking about listening to the words.
Uh-huh.
He's talking about understanding the feelings behind them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You want to respond to the emotion,
Right.
not just parrot back the information.
Yeah.
So like if someone is telling you about a frustrating experience,
Yeah.
You could say something like, wow, that sounds incredibly stressful.
Yeah.
I can only imagine how you must have felt.
Exactly. It's about empathy.
Right.
Showing that you understand what they're going through.
Not just acknowledging the facts of the situation.
Exactly. And that actually leads us to another really fascinating concept from the book.
Okay. All right.
The idea that people tend to filter the world through a dominant sense.
A dominant sense.
Yeah, visual, auditory, or kinesthetic.
Oh, like some people are more visual learners,
Exactly.
while others learn best through listening or doing.
That's it. Boothman calls these sensory preferences.
Okay.
And he argues that understanding them can be really powerful in building rapport.
So how does that work?
Well, he tells this story about a woman at one of his seminars
Okay.
who always sounded angry.
Even when she wasn't.
Yeah, even when she was trying to be friendly.
Wow.
It turned out that her tone of voice
Yeah.
didn't match her intended message.
Oh, so it was a mismatch.
Exactly, and it was causing all sorts of misunderstandings.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so he helped her to become more aware of her tone
I see.
and to adjust it to better reflect her true feelings.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So how do we figure out someone's sensory type?
Well, you can't just come right out and ask them, right?
Right. That would be awkward.
Yeah, so it's more about observation.
Okay.
Pay attention to the words they use,
Uh-huh.
their eye movements,
Okay.
their gestures.
Give me some examples.
Sure, so if someone says things like, I see what you mean,
Yeah.
or that looks good, they're likely visual.
Visual.
Okay. And someone who says, I hear you,
Yeah.
or that sounds like a great plan would be more auditory.
Auditory. Okay. And what about kinesthetic?
Kinesthetic people tend to use phrases like, I feel like, or let's get a handle on this.
So they're more focused on physical sensations.
Exactly.
Okay. So once you've figured out someone's dominant sense, how do you use that information to connect with them?
It's not about changing who you are. It's about adjusting your approach.
To create a more harmonious connection.
Exactly. Like if you're talking to a visual person,
Yeah.
you might use more descriptive language.
Okay.
You know, paint vivid pictures with your words.
So instead of saying we need to increase productivity,
Yeah.
you might say, imagine a well-oiled machine.
Oh, I like that.
Every part working in perfect sync.
Yeah.
That's what we're aiming for.
Perfect for someone auditory. You might change your vocal tone, emphasize certain words,
Okay.
use rhythmic language.
And for a kinesthetic person.
You might focus on shared experiences
Yeah.
or use metaphors that evoke physical sensations.
Oh, I see. So it's like you're speaking their language.
In a way, yeah.
Okay, this is fascinating. We've
Yeah.
covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
We've talked about making a great first impression, keeping conversations flowing,
Right.
being an active listener,
Yes.
and even decoding sensory preferences.
Yeah.
What else does Boothman have up his sleeve?
Well, he also addresses the importance of having what he calls handles.
Handles.
Yeah, those memorable qualities that make you stand out from the crowd.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, this is really important if you want to be more memorable.
Especially in a professional setting.
Exactly. You know, you go to a networking event, you meet like 50 people.
Right. How do you make sure that
They remember you.
they remember you afterwards?
Yeah. So Boothman says you need to have a handle.
Okay. So what makes a good handle?
Well, it could be anything that creates a positive and memorable association.
So like a catchy name?
It could be, yeah, or a quirky sense of style,
Uh-huh.
or a unique skill or talent.
Okay.
He tells a story about this computer salesperson
Okay.
who uses her nickname Newfie.
Newfie.
Yeah, which is short for someone from Newfoundland,
Okay.
and it instantly makes her more memorable.
Because it's unique.
Exactly, and it's also kind of disarming.
Right. It makes her more relatable.
Yeah, so she's not just another salesperson.
I'm trying to think what my own memorable handle could be.
Well, that's something we can brainstorm later.
Okay, great.
But the key takeaway is to think about what makes you unique.
Right?
What are your passions, your experiences, your quirks?
Yeah.
And how can you use those to create a lasting impression?
Okay, that's a great challenge for our listeners to think about.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to let your personality shine through.
That's great advice. All right, so we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive
We have.
into Nicholas Boothman's How to Make People Like You in 90 Seconds or Less.
Yeah.
We've talked about the psychology of first impressions,
Right.
the importance of body language and active listening, and even how to decode sensory preferences.
A lot to take in.
It is, but I think it's all really valuable stuff
Oh, absolutely.
that can help us to connect with people on a deeper level.
And make a great first impression.
Exactly. So we were talking about handles right before the break.
Right. Those memorable qualities
Yeah.
that help you stand out.
And I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with, especially
Especially in professional settings.
right, like when you're networking.
Exactly. You go to a conference or a job fair,
Yeah.
and you meet so many people.
It's all a blur.
It really is.
So how do you make sure that you stand out?
Well, that's where the handle comes in.
So what kind of things make for a good handle?
Well, Boothman talks about this computer salesperson
Okay.
who uses her nickname Newfie.
Right, from Newfoundland.
Exactly. And it's just this little thing
Yeah.
that makes her more memorable.
I'm more relatable, I bet.
Exactly. It's like, oh, yeah,
I
Newfie.
remember her.
So it could be a nickname. It could be a unique skill or talent.
Sure.
It could be a story that you tell.
Oh, interesting.
Something that people will remember.
So it's really about finding what makes you unique.
Exactly. And then highlighting that.
Okay. So I need to figure out what my handle is.
We can definitely brainstorm some ideas.
Okay. I like that. All right. So we've talked about handles, and that kind of wraps up the main points.
Yeah, I think we've covered a lot of ground.
From Boothman's book.
We have.
It's a really interesting book.
Yeah, it's packed with useful tips.
I'm already thinking about how I can apply some of this stuff
Me too.
in my own life.
Yeah, it's all about making those connections.
Right, and building rapport.
Exactly. And, it's not just about being liked.
Right,
It's about building trust and understanding.
and creating genuine relationships.
Absolutely. And I think the beauty of Boothman's approach
Yeah.
is that it's all based on being authentic. It's
Mhm.
not about trying to be someone you're not.
It's about amplifying your best qualities.
Exactly, and letting your personality shine through.
So I think that's a great takeaway for our listeners.
Yeah, go out there.
Be yourself
Connect with people.
and have fun.
Exactly.
Okay, so we spent the last 2 parts of this deep dive talking about how to make people like you quickly,
Yeah.
based on Nicholas Boothman's book.
Mm-hmm.
How to Make People Like You in 90 Seconds or Less.
Yeah. Great book.
And I think we've uncovered some really fascinating insights.
Yeah, I mean, it really makes you think about those first impressions.
Right, like we talked about how quickly those judgments are formed.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
And how important it is to project that,
Really useful attitude.
right, that warmth, that enthusiasm, that genuine interest.
Yeah. It's like setting the stage for the whole interaction.
And then Boothman gives us that great acronym, OPEN,
Yeah.
to remember those 5 key steps for a great greeting.
Open posture.
Right.
Eye contact.
Beam a smile.
Say hi and lean in.
So simple, but so effective.
It really is, and it's not just about going through the motions.
Right. Each of those steps has a psychological impact.
Exactly, triggering
Wait.
mirror neurons,
Right.
building rapport.
And then we talked about synchronizing,
Oh, yeah.
which I found so fascinating.
Me too. It's like
Yeah.
you're speaking a secret language.
Right, like you're on the same wavelength without even realizing it.
Exactly. And, it's not about mimicking. It's about creating that sense of harmony.
Like Boothman did with his lawyer neighbor.
Yeah. At the ski chalet.
I love that story.
It's a good one.
It shows how powerful those subtle cues can be.
Absolutely. And then to keep those conversations flowing.
Yeah, because that can be a challenge too.
Oh, for sure. Especially when you're meeting someone new.
Boothman gave us that great formula.
The location, occasion statement,
Right.
plus an open question.
So simple, but it works.
It does. And remember those opening up words.
Who, what, why, where, when, how.
Yes, use those to keep the conversation moving.
And avoid those conversational dead ends.
Exactly. And of course, we can't forget about active listening.
Oh, yeah, that's so important.
It really is, truly engaging with the other person,
Showing that you're interested.
responding to their emotions.
But we even talked about how to decode sensory preferences.
Oh, yeah.
Figuring out if someone is more visual, auditory, or kinesthetic.
And then tailoring your communication style accordingly
It's like finding the right key to unlock the door.
to connect
Exactly. And finally, we talked about handles.
those memorable qualities that make you stand out.
I'm still trying to figure out what mine is.
Well, that's something you can keep thinking about,
I will.
but the important thing is to be aware of it
Right, to think about what makes you unique.
and how you can use that to your advantage.
So this has been a really insightful deep dive
I agree.
into the world of first impressions and how to make them count.
We've covered a lot of ground.
We have, and I think there's something here for everyone.
Absolutely, whether you're networking or socializing.
Or just trying to connect with people on a deeper level.
These are valuable skills that we can all learn and improve.
I think that's a great note to end on.
Yeah, go out there and practice.
Be yourself, be genuine, be interested.
And have fun.
Exactly. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive,
It's been a pleasure.
and we'll see you next time.